Buenos días, buenas tardes o buenas noches. Saludos desde Cuba. Bienvenido a la clase número 13 en este tu canal Learn Spanish Easy and Fast. Hoy aprenderemos los números del 11 al 100. Además, veremos cómo se habla sobre la hora en español y continuaremos hablando sobre nuestras rutinas. Let's start. ¡Comencemos! Bien, muchachos, en la clase número 5 aprendimos los números del 0 al 10 en español. In the lesson 5, we learned the numbers from 0 to 10 in Spanish. Okay, today we are going to learn the numbers from 11 to 100. And let's start with 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Okay, I know that it's a little hard for you to learn by heart the numbers from 11 to 20, but don't worry because from 20 they are easier to remember. Okay, guys, let's continue. Okay, now we have 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. Okay, if you notice, you keep, okay, 20, okay, and you write 1, 2, you write and you say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, the only difference is that you write a tilde. This is called tilde in Spanish, but is almost the same writing. Anyway, if you forget the tildes in Spanish, it's not a big deal. It's not a big deal. Even many natives don't write tildes when they are writing. So if you can place it when it's correctly, even better, right? Because that demonstrates that you domain the language. But if you miss the tilde, it's not a big deal. Okay, so let's continue. 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. Okay, so if you notice the same, you keep the word 20 and you say 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, so 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. Okay? Okay, guys. Now, we have 31, 32, 33, 34, 35. Okay, so if you notice, now I don't write the word in only one word. Okay, 21, 22, 23. Okay, we had the only one word. Okay, in this case, I have 3 words. Okay, and it's even easier because the only thing I have to do is keep the same word, 30, then I add the conjunction y, okay, and I say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, okay, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, and the same with the rest. 36, 37, 38, 39, 40. Okay? And then I have 41. So the pattern remains, okay? Like before, 31, 32, 33 until 39. Okay, in this case, the same. I have 41, then 42, then 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, and then I have 50. Okay, and the pattern remains. Okay, the same pattern. 51, 52, 53, and so on until 59. Then I have 60. And the same pattern, 61, 62, 63 until 69. Then I have 70. And the same pattern, 71, 72, 73 until 79. Then I have 80. And the same pattern remains, 81, 82, 83, and so on until 89. And then I have the number 90, okay, 90 in English, 90, okay, and the same pattern, 91, 92, 93, 94, 95, 96, 97, 98, 99, and then we have 100, 100, 100, okay, guys? Okay, now that we know all the numbers, or at least numbers from 0 to 100, we can say the time. ¿Qué hora es? That is the question. ¿Qué hora es? What time is it? ¿Qué hora es? And you can answer, es la una. It's 1 o'clock. Es la una. You can also say, es la una en punto. Okay, it's 1 o'clock. Es la una en punto. Or you just can say, es la una. And that's it, okay? Es la una. Okay. But I answer es, okay? Only with uno, okay? Instead of saying, I don't say es el uno, but I say es la una. Okay, I know that the number in Spanish is uno, one. However, you say, for the time, you say es la una. Okay, es la una. And starting from 2, then you use the plural. So you say son, okay? And you say son las dos, son las tres, son las cuatro, son las cinco, son las seis, son las siete, son las ocho, son las nueve, son las 10, son las 11, son las 12. Okay? And the same, you can also say son las 12 en punto, son las 3 en punto, son las 4 en punto, son las 5 en punto, and so on until son las 12 en punto. If you want to make a lot of emphasis that is o'clock, you can say. If you don't, you just say son las 2, son las 3, and that's it. Okay, it's more common to say son las 2, son las 3. Okay. Okay, guys. Let's continue. Okay, but like in English, in Spanish, we don't have only times with a clock. So we have different times, like in any country, okay? So, for example, here we have this question, and you and I, we are going to respond to answer these questions. ¿Qué hora es? What time is it? ¿Qué hora es? In this case, you say, es la una. Es la una. Or you can say, es la una en punto. Okay? Or you can say, es la una a.m. Es la una a.m. Or also you can say, es la una de la mañana. Remember in the previous lesson, I told you that a.m., okay? You can say, es la una a.m. or es la una de la mañana. Okay? The same with the second one. ¿Qué hora es? Somebody tells you, ¿qué hora es? And you say, es la una. Or es la una en punto. or es la 1 p.m. or es la 1 de la tarde. Okay? And the same with this time. ¿Qué hora es? Somebody tells you, ¿qué hora es? And you say, son las 2. Or you say, son las 2 en punto. Or you say, son las 2 a.m. Or you can say, son las 2 de la mañana. Okay? ¿Qué hora es? Son las 2. Or son las 2 en punto. Or son las 2 p.m. Or son las 2 de la tarde. Okay? And all of this is o'clock en punto, right? Right? But in this case, it's not o'clock anymore. So, ¿qué hora es? In English, I would say, is 1:05. Okay? In Spanish, I say, es la 1:05. Okay? Es la 1:05. So I don't pronounce the 0 like in English. So, es la 1:05. Okay? And I use the conjunction. It's like in English, I would say, it's 1 and 5. Okay? But in English, it's not like that. But in Spanish, you say, es la 1:05. Okay? And you can also say, es la 1:05 a.m. or es la 1:05 de la mañana. Okay? The same with this one. ¿Qué hora es? And you can say, es la 1:05. The same. Because if it is afternoon and somebody tells you ¿qué hora es? It's obvious that it's in the afternoon, de la tarde. Okay? But in any case that you want to be very specific, you can say, es la 1:05 p.m. or you can say, es la 1:05 de la tarde. Okay? ¿Qué hora es? And you can say, son las 2:30 or son las 2:30 a.m. or son las 2:30 de la mañana. Okay? But we also have another phrase in English, in Spanish, I'm sorry, and you say, son las 2:30. It's like in English, it's 2:30. Okay? So in Spanish, son las 2:30. Okay? You can also say, son las 2:30 a.m. or son las 2:30 de la mañana. Okay? Or son las 2:30 p.m. or son las 2:30 de la tarde. Or just you can say son las 2:30, and that's fine. It's the most common. Okay, it's the most common to say. It's the most common way to say son las 2:30, and that's it. Okay. ¿Qué hora es? What time is it? And you can say es la 1:15 or es la 1:15 p.m. or es la 1:15 de la tarde. Okay. But also in Spanish, we have a phrase, and it's y cuarto. So you can say, es la 1:15, or es la 1:15 p.m., or es la 1:15 de la tarde. Okay? It's like in English, it's a quarter after 1. Okay? It's more or less the same. It's the same idea. And we also have 1:45. ¿Qué hora es? And you can say 1:45, or you can say es la 1:45 p.m., or you can say es la 1:45 de la tarde. But we also have in Spanish another way to say this time, and is son las 2 menos cuarto. Okay, and I say son because I use the number 2. Because in this case, it's like I do mathematics and I say it's 2 minus 15. Okay? In Spanish, in English, it's not like that, but in Spanish, it is. So you say son las 2 menos cuarto. Okay? Or you can say son las 2 menos cuarto p.m. or son las 2 menos cuarto de la tarde. Okay? But you can just say, es la 1:45, and it's fine, okay? My advice to you is that you avoid to say y media or y cuarto or menos cuarto. Just say the time and that's it. But it's good that you know, because if somebody tells you with this way, you can understand, okay? Okay, guys, let's continue. And this is also a very common phrase in Spanish. ¿A qué hora? It's like in English, at what time? ¿A qué hora? For example, ¿a qué hora es el desayuno? At what time is breakfast? ¿A qué hora es el desayuno? And a possible answer is, el desayuno es a las 8 de la mañana. Okay? El desayuno es a las 8 de la mañana. Or el desayuno es a las 8. Okay? Or el desayuno es a las 8 a.m. Okay, guys? ¿A qué hora es el almuerzo? At what time is lunch? ¿A qué hora es el almuerzo? And the possible answer is, el almuerzo es a la 1 de la tarde. Okay? El almuerzo es a la 1 de la tarde. Or el almuerzo es a la 1. Or el almuerzo es a la 1 p.m. Okay? It's fine. But you can say just el almuerzo es a la 1 and that's it. It's fine. Okay? It's the most common way to say it. Also, ¿a qué hora es la cena? At what time is dinner? ¿A qué hora es la cena? And the possible answer is, la cena es a las 7 de la noche. La cena es a las 7 de la noche. Or la cena es a las 7 p.m. Or just la cena es a las 7. And that's it. Okay? La cena es a las 7. Okay, guys. Instead of saying ¿a qué hora es el desayuno? Or ¿a qué hora es el almuerzo? Or ¿a qué hora es la cena? You can also use verbs. Okay? Verbs in Spanish, in English, we have to have breakfast, to have lunch, and to have dinner. In Spanish, I'm sorry. In Spanish, we have the verbs desayunar, almorzar, cenar. Those are the infinitives, but we can conjugate those infinitives. And I can say, if I am asking to you, directly to you, ¿a qué hora desayunas? At what time do you have breakfast? ¿A qué hora desayunas? Since you are my friends, because, come on, you and I are together in this YouTube channel. You are my subscribers, and I think, guys, that you are like my friends. So, I can say to you, ¿a qué hora desayunas? Okay, casual. ¿A qué hora desayunas? But remember, if I want to be very formal, if I am asking to another person in a very formal way, I can say, ¿a qué hora desayuna? Or ¿a qué hora desayuna usted? Or ¿usted a qué hora desayuna? Okay? And the possible answer is, yo desayuno a las 8 de la mañana. Or just desayuno a las 8 de la mañana, because you know that in Spanish you are not forced to use the personal pronoun every time, okay? So, unless if you want to be very specific. ¿A qué hora almuerzas? At what time do you have lunch? ¿A qué hora almuerzas? Or, if you want to be very formal, ¿a qué hora almuerza? And the possible answer is, almuerzo a la 1 de la tarde. Or, if you want to be very specific, yo almuerzo a la 1 de la tarde. Okay? Another example, ¿a qué hora cenas? Or, if you want to be very formal, ¿a qué hora cena? At what time do you have dinner? And the possible answer is, ceno a las 7 de la noche. Or, ceno a las 7. Okay? Or, ceno a las 7 p.m. Okay? Okay, guys. Or, if you want to be very specific, yo ceno. Okay? Okay, guys, let's continue. And now, let's conjugate in, I want to conjugate this verb in Spanish because this verb is very, 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 very used in Spanish. And it's the verb querer. It means to want in English. I say, yo quiero. Remember that I put the personal pronouns in brackets because you are not obliged is it's not an obligation that you use the personal pronouns, okay? Because in Spanish there is a personal pronoun for every conjugation, okay? But however, as you know, usted, and it's always important to remember this, okay? Usted, ella, and él, these personal pronouns share the same conjugation. You can see it right here, okay? And also, ustedes, ellas, and ellos also share the same conjugation. But because of the context, you can know, and the context and the situation, you can know when we are talking about usted or ella or él or ustedes, ellos, and ellas, okay? It's easy to know. Okay, guys, so let's start with yo quiero, I want, yo quiero. Tú quieres, you want, tú quieres. Usted quiere, you want, usted quiere. Ella quiere, she wants, ella quiere. Él quiere, he wants, él quiere. Nosotros queremos, we want, nosotros queremos. Remember that I say nosotros if it's a group only, and I am included in the group, of course, because remember that nosotros means we in English, okay? But I say nosotros if the group is composed only by men or if the group is composed by men and by women, okay? But if the group is composed only by women, and I am a woman, and I am included in that group, I say nosotras, okay? So in this case, we want, it can be nosotros queremos, but it can also be nosotras queremos, okay? We also have the plural of you is ustedes. When I am talking directly to a group, I say ustedes quieren, you want, okay? And in Spanish, as you know, there is a personal pronoun that is very formal. When I am talking to a person, usted, okay? However, we don't have that formal personal pronoun in the plural. So I say ustedes, okay? Ustedes, the same. Ustedes quieren, you want. Ustedes quieren, okay? Also, the plural of ella, okay, is ellas, okay? And I say ellas quieren, they want. Ellas quieren. And the plural of ellos, okay, the plural of él, I'm sorry, is ellos. Ellos quieren, okay? So, yo quiero, tú quieres, usted quiere, ella quiere, él quiere, nosotros queremos, ustedes quieren, ellas quieren, and ellos quieren, okay? And here we have some examples with this verb. For example, I can say to you, ¿qué quieres hacer? What do you want to do? ¿Qué quieres hacer? And for example, I can say, ¿qué quieres hacer hoy? What do you want to do today? ¿Qué quieres hacer hoy? And you can say, for example, hoy quiero jugar fútbol. Okay, today I want to play football. Hoy quiero jugar fútbol. Okay, or I can say, ¿qué quieres hacer esta noche? What do you want to do tonight? ¿Qué quieres hacer esta noche? And you can say, esta noche quiero mirar televisión. Or quiero mirar televisión esta noche, because remember that all of these are time expressions. And I say to you that time expressions can be in Spanish in the beginning of the sentence or at the end of the sentence. In Spanish also, you can place time expressions in the middle of the sentence, but my advice to you, because you are not natives and you don't want to make mistakes, please put personal time expressions in the beginning of the sentence or at the end of the sentence, okay? So, ¿qué quieres hacer esta noche? You can say, esta noche quiero mirar televisión, or quiero mirar televisión esta noche. Remember that also if you want to be very formal to the person who you are speaking to, you can say, ¿qué quiere hacer hoy? Or ¿qué quiere hacer esta noche? Okay? If you want to be very formal. Also, ¿qué quieres hacer mañana? Okay? Or if you want to be very formal, ¿qué quiere hacer mañana? And a possible answer the other person can say, mañana quiero jugar béisbol. Okay, mañana quiero jugar béisbol. Okay, another example. ¿Qué quieres hacer esta semana? What do you want to do this week? ¿Qué quieres hacer esta semana? And the other person can say, esta semana quiero descansar. Okay, esta semana quiero descansar. This week I want to rest. Esta semana quiero descansar. Okay, another possible example. ¿Qué quieres hacer la semana que viene? Or if you want to be very formal, ¿qué quiere hacer la semana que viene? And the possible answer is, la semana que viene quiero visitar a mi familia. Next week I want to visit my family. La semana que viene quiero visitar a mi familia. Okay? Okay, guys. Also, here we have a very important word in Spanish, very used, and it's the word cuando. When. Cuando. And I can say, for example, ¿cuándo quieres jugar fútbol? When do you want to play football or soccer? ¿Cuándo quieres jugar fútbol? And you can say to me, hoy. You can leave it there. Or, hoy quiero jugar fútbol. Or, quiero jugar fútbol hoy. Okay? ¿Cuándo quieres visitar a tu familia? ¿Cuándo quieres visitar a tu familia? And you can say, esta noche. And leave it there, esta noche. Or you can say, esta noche quiero visitar a mi familia. Or quiero visitar a mi familia esta noche. Okay? And the same with the rest. You can say, for example, ¿cuándo quieres mirar televisión? When do you want to watch TV? ¿Cuándo quieres mirar televisión? And you can say, mañana. Or you can say, mañana quiero mirar televisión. But also, it's very common to say just mañana. And that's it, okay? Mañana. ¿Cuándo quieres, no sé, cuándo quieres visitar a tu familia? Again, ¿cuándo quieres visitar a tu familia? And you can say, esta semana, okay? Or you can say, esta semana quiero visitar a mi familia. Or quiero visitar a mi familia esta semana, right? Or you can say, la semana que viene, next week, la semana que viene. Or la semana que viene quiero visitar a mi familia. Or quiero visitar a mi familia la semana que viene. Okay, but it's very common to say if somebody asks you, ¿cuándo quieres visitar a tu familia? O ¿cuándo quieres jugar fútbol? O ¿cuándo quieres mirar televisión? Or whatever action that this person is asking you, you can say, la semana que viene, or esta semana, or mañana, or esta noche, or hoy, okay? Okay, guys. Also, I can ask with the verb, okay? And I say, for example, ¿cuándo cocinas? Okay? ¿Cuándo cocinas? I can ask directly to the other person, ¿cuándo cocinas? Or if I want to be very formal, ¿cuándo cocina? ¿Cuándo cocina usted? ¿Usted cuándo cocina? Or ¿cuándo usted cocina? Because remember, Spanish is very flexible, so I can use the personal pronoun at the end of the sentence, in the beginning of the sentence, or in the middle of the sentence. Okay, when do you cook? And you can say, for example, yo cocino a las 11 de la mañana. Yo cocino a las 11 de la mañana. Or another possible answer, yo cocino todos los días. I cook every day. Yo cocino todos los días. Remember, in the previous lesson, we learned this expression, todos los días, okay? Another example, ¿cuándo trabajas? Or if you want to be very specific, ¿cuándo trabaja? And the possible answer, trabajo de lunes a viernes. I work Monday through Friday, okay? Trabajo de lunes a viernes. Another possible question, ¿cuándo ves televisión? When do you watch TV? ¿Cuándo ves televisión? Or if you want to be very formal, ¿cuándo ves televisión? And you can say, veo televisión en la noche. Remember, the previous lesson we learned this expression as well. Veo televisión en la noche. I watch TV in the evening. Or I watch TV at night. Okay? Veo televisión en la noche. Another example, ¿cuándo duermes? When do you sleep? ¿Cuándo duermes? Or if you want to be very formal, ¿cuándo duerme? And the possible answer is duermo por la noche or duermo en la noche. Okay? Or you can say the time if you want. Duermo. Well, no, not exactly, because I was going to say I go to bed, okay? But in that case it would be me acuesto, okay? Me acuesto a las 11:30 de la noche. Or me acuesto a las 11:30 de la noche, okay? So it's not exactly the same. Okay, guys. Now, I want you to answer some of these questions, okay? All of the questions, all of the expressions that we have seen in this lesson, use it. Okay, tell me the time that you do something, use the numbers, ask the questions that we have seen throughout the class. All right, guys? Throughout the lesson. Thank you very much. Amigos, es todo por hoy. Como siempre, quiero agradecerte por haber visto el video hasta el final. Si te gustó, regálame un me gusta. Suscríbete si aún no lo has hecho y no te olvides de darle a la campanita. If you liked the video, please subscribe, give me a like, and don't forget to hit the bell button. Remember, this channel is new, and with your help, we can make it grow together. Muchas gracias. Nos vemos en la clase número 14. Adiós.